Hello, WFSB, recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed. There's a Trantolo and Trantol. There's a lawyer group involved with them, fabricating audio and video, also with doctors who are personally with a whole bunch of generations in their family involved with drugs and medicines, crimes, with people tied to my street, their friends and their extended family members. Attach me to fake conversations with them. And they attach me to fake natures of ties to my neighbors, and they attach them to fake natures of ties to me growing up. These are people involved with New Britain Superior Court and Hartford Court since they were kids, with their kids involved with predicate acts with them. So I've been asking you for a long time for a response in writing because they've been fabricating audio and video. Hartford Court has a whole bunch of people involved with a Brendan Leahy and his father, a Brendan Leahy. There was also a Rick C.M. Faglione, who recorded, confessed, demonstrated his and confirmed his brother and his sister and his mother and their father and a whole bunch of people tied to them, like a Jonathan Mayano, are also further involved with all kinds of natures of federal crimes on my street and with evidences with Weathersfield Police Department and with the police chief's daughter, Jessica Cintron, that are further involved with the principal child abusers campus. See, they're forcing they're forcing sexual and medical crimes because you have some evidence reception predators across the states, interstates, involved also with more World Trade Center crimes and with the January 6th committee pretending passions and emotions across the states. They've been setting directives out so you can't communicate with the in other words, they have the people that are running the kids that are speaking for the kids with the town councils and all that things. Those people are involved covering lie progressions. Everyone's speaking through everyone. They're being coached to put fake conversations with people, fake ties to people, fake natures of ties to people. And my voice is increasingly being prevented, and they don't care if they don't have a voice. These are some little plot rags that you have speaking to you on the television every day. WFSB, fix the fake news with you and the Transolo and Trantolo. Have them fix the fake things they made up over the phone too. You can't even communicate over the phone. They make things up. They have physical delusions with you guys. Fix it and make sure I get a response from the principal child abusers campus. There are more people with sexual abuses, drugs and medicines, crimes, abuses of the kids, including with the gangs involved with those cops with the pretending to be against it, plain clothes. They're still involved with them with this. You guys are involved with federal crimes with the courts, fabricating drugs and fake conversations with people. Now get on paper and make sure I get a response. And now you guys have the medical racketeering through interstates associated with your evidence and data reception and identity reception since founding. You can't defend your logics. All tactical ulterior from logic as natural, actually say simultaneous, which actually reality. You guys are delusions wrought, and you have a problem because you have connections between the schools, private, and you have public schools and their kids in the houses and locations next to those also involved with this identity theft, fraud, slander method. Now, further, there's a Dr. Graham involved with locations next to the Southstein Middle School, and further next to the campuses in Weathersfield involved that with those that were brought up. I still haven't had a response for the principal sex offenders campus. And let's get a response because Police Chief Cintron has a Jessica Cintron and other people involved with his officers forging and switching names and making confessions to me and others at my door. One of them forced his way in my house, and I still haven't had a response because they're switching names. Let's get them on paper. They come to my house many times, and with bullshit. Then they make a statement and then they leave because of what I caught them doing, and they have to keep doing more lies to hide that. Former director of the FBI in his defendant capacity is personally criminally involved with the Weathersfield Police Department and the Hartford Police Departments and Rocky Hill Police Department and Newington Police Department with this, for example, New Britain's Police Department. Then they have further the campuses police and other natures of police and the FBI and CIA further on off Central Connecticut State University in New Britain, Connecticut, involved here with this. So there's a Mr. Neville also involved with Rick C.M. Faglione, recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed, involved with identity thefts with the people tied to this Rick C.M. Faglione, like these doctors, foreign and domestic, with drugs and medicines crimes on my street, identity thefts and frauds, pretending I know them. I don't know them. Year after he graduated, made all these confessions, man. Years later, I never hung around them. There was a Judge Smith and other people lying about the nature of me between people around me and complete strangers. They've been putting fake ties between people and databases since we were kids. Now they have their own kids involved with their physical delusions and their criminally foreign influence, fact-cheating nature. This is relative to what is manifest at the state capitol and their treatments of it. How could they make treatments of anything legally? They can't. They have still physical. That's why they have physical delusions when they speak for color. Then they have little representatives of color and culture. Get out of your mind. They are victims, but when they speak about their victim predators because they never had a legitimate education, partially because of how you have the physical delusions and the criminally foreign influenced aspects of psychology uncharged. Make sure you follow mandated law for them too. These methods of preventing mandated law and stacking databases with more wire crimes, mail crimes, falsified police reports, and extortion, identity theft, fraud, slanders. The identity theft, fraud, slander is relative to where and how nature as an identity of volume, and its nature as its identity of relationship to itself as a nature, as value. And the value of that, as value. These are bound in our fact-cheating nature. There's a trinity here. In other words, being obfuscated, we can't have people telling, we can't have liars pretend they're truth tellers. We can't have them pretending that democracy means what it doesn't. These are crimes against Barack Obama, Donald Trump, and Joe Biden and everyone else. They're trying to make it, it's either you're for Biden or you're for Trump. This whole rat mob game. Fix the fake news. They have Wethersfield town offices further involved with wire crimes. They have fire departments involved with this. They have the locations next to the fire department. They have locations next to the schools through time involved with this. You guys stack all these names, then you tell people to make allegations. Oh, look, he's using other people's names. Oh, look, you understood what I said. Make sure you get on paper and give me a response for this Leahy family that pretended they had conversations with me, with various natures of courts and prosecutors personally criminally involved with them and their family members and friends associated with them with their drugs and medicines cliques. Medicines crimes cliques with the police forms next to the schools, involved with identity thefts and frauds with those families too, attaching people to fake locations with them. You have some sick fake leaders. So the January 6th commission, they've been hiding worse than war crimes. Well, how come you didn't respond before? I've been asking you for how long? How many years I've been asking you for a response to me? And writing too. We went to the courts. They wouldn't provide writing. They recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed to me and others that were involved with officers switching names. And then they used crime methods of just putting a charge with no writing. And in the background, they put all fake things into the databases, fake ties between me and fake arresting officers. And one of those guys, like a Detective Samuda, is one of the people involved with the sexual abuses of a Heather Hansen. That's also with the Wethersfield police families, involved with sexual circles with her and a Joe DeMoro and a Mike Kerr, who has a brother named Jerry Kerr, who's also by an officer, Jerry Miller, on Facebook, also recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed, still involved, vented now with the campuses and intercities and with names involved with also online in the Wethersfield Police Department, involved with federal crimes, even sexual, even with little kids, and then as adults, as men and women who are furthering abuses of people they don't even know. And they're trying to make exceptions to pretend they know people too. In other words, they have rape fests screaming out intercities connected with these people. You're going to see how fake your FBI is and your CIA and the people when they say, oh, well, this is a federal prosecutor. The prosecutions across the states have been delusions, raw, sick predators since founding. You don't see that. I mean, they knew that, and they know that just the breaching method knew, and they know distinctly. and non-distinctly how New York City is going to cause negative value nature progressions, acts, and natures because it's designed as a trap. Suburbs across the board of countries as a designed as a trap. It's all tactically denatured identity. The ground's identity of relationship to itself. The ground can't support growing things unless you stick chemicals in there or things in there. Because, for example, all these years we took away all the things from the soil. Oh, let's cut the grass, take it away. And then the soil keeps changing. It doesn't get this. It doesn't use its natural system, its nature system. So when you ask calm, they don't respond. They use other crime methods offensively. They further stack more names and roles with this. And they have uses of locations. Like, for example, CNN has roles on off Paul Manafort Drive with a crime method at CCSU. They're recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed. Besides forging names, switching names, and fabricating names, spreading lies about people. You have some sick fake identities of cops and little rent-a-cops involved with the CIA and the FBI and the military, police, foreign and domestic, and how we share our countries and their families here and there. You don't have legal representation. You have some sick fake punks with that slavery rat trap by what was worse than that and more finite than that. Well, as it, don't forget that in house torture is additional to slavery. The identity theft, fraud, slanders, and torture was addition to slavery. And what is and what is manifest with that was with being and having been engineered effectively. So they have all locations, areas, and states. You have people making lies, and you have a little like a punk bullied kids. Like there's a guy named Roger Susannon with WFSB who's involved with the federal crimes with children through his roles with federal wire crimes and identity thefts and frauds roles, attaching me to fake words with him and others. You have some sick fake punks with these make sure they get on paper, and make sure when they make the January 6th treatments, you look into their little souls with them pretending passions, emotions, pretending, trying to give jail time to people who didn't even do anything there. And then they're hiding, they're obfuscating what really went down and killed that woman and what really went down and hurt the people out there. So you don't stay with proper premises treatments. You guys keep all investigators, and needs for them originally instilled criminally foreign influence tools of a breaching method. So follow mandated law, because you also have some black and white hate groups involved with identity thefts and frauds with this, and as military police. They're not, who've been using the quote right to lie, unquote, where they don't have the right to lie. Obviously, since founding, you pounding drums. You have not. So there's also there are some ties between a Joshua Stryker and with FBI and CIA and courts involved with Mesh and Tuckett, Pequot tribal nation, and with the Connecticut tribes. See, they have an intelligence community and they have them involved with the identity thefts and frauds and slanders of this Joshua Stryker. People from Trinity College connected to the casinos through intelligence, and as an intelligence community. They have Central Connecticut State University with people associated with Jack Heitner through time involved with drugs and medicines crimes with the courts, fabricating audio and video. Don't forget, they have all kinds of drugs and doctors and people associated with the courts and prisons. And those people and their family members are kept needing to hide lie progressions. So they're spreading lies into databases no one's watching. That's how I caught them, a bunch doing all these things with the principal child abusers campus for more then and now. You guys forced that, not told on, because they have the kids of the interbranch involved with it. There's a Brian Silver with his kids, and there are people with the name Christine with New Britain Superior Court, recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed, using their kids to hide their lie progressions because Jonathan Mayano was involved with them and with the police chief's daughter and other people with the schools and her extended family member. There's a Mazzucato Bakery in Hartford, and there's one on the corner of Route 3 and Elm Street in Rocky Hill involved with identity theft, fraud, slanders, all kinds of natures of federal crimes, and with this police chief's family, as this police chief's family, with like, so there's a Reno Mazzucato, one of the people. I only saw him one time, and he came with. There's a web school, and there's houses next to it, and there was trailers in the parking lot at the time. Has something to do with why and how they tried to make an exception to know me there, on the web, in the web campus. With a football coach, there's a John Hagenbar. People associated with the John Hagenbar involved with all kinds of federal crimes with kids. And I never had a conversation with him in my life. I don't know if they pretended other in databases. And this is their roles with communications with principals. They have the kids of principals. They have the kids of teachers. They have the kids of the interbranch used to manipulate them and make them, have to hide how they hid what they do. They are incapable of having proper facts and evidences and data reception and identity reception since pounding drums. So we have more World Trade Center attacks, sequence shifts, and predicate acts, and roles with the locations next to the World Trade Center, like the Ninth Circuit Court, involved criminally with investigations with the January 6th committee, involved covering up sequence shifts, involved with their wire crimes with the news media and with the print news media. Also, since they were kids on their campuses, criminally involved with this. There are people with the Department of Motor Vehicles and Department of Transportation involved. Also, there are people from Trinity College with journalism tied to a Perone family who's also involved with identity thefts and frauds with the intelligence community, as the people involved also with a whole bunch of other different countries with identity theft, fraud, slanders. There's a John Laurie I never met in my life. A bunch of people who got brought up with this also have that pattern, who used that name to me in the past. That's how I remember it. And that's at the corner. They have the corners of Highcrest Street and Hangdog Lane. And the corners on Highcrest Street involved with an O'Brien family, an executive police forms family with the Hartford Police and Wethersfield Police, Rocky Hill Police, Intercities Police, including people from Sandy Hook, Newtown, who are involved intercities, intercampuses, and further on a principal sex offenders campus then and now, as the people involved with the doctors of medicines and drugs crimes with the kids, and physical delusions with the kids on the campuses, as people involved also with the campuses of Sandy Hook further. Now, there was also a Soto family. There are Soto families and people associated with the three spots at the end of the Bronx Turnpike involved with identity thefts and frauds and slanders against me, relevant to and as their roles with federal crimes with evidences and their roles with hospitals. They have various unrelated hospitals, and from off them, maintain on off them. See the different types of hospitals, different type of relationships to the actual executive branch and judicial branch, and so so which is corrupt originally and still. No, so they've been used remotely, kept shown needs to hide their lie progressions, even preemptively. So they just stack names. They use that crime method of stacking names, so that people sound like we're using other people's names, and they exploit those physical delusions and dreams in the minds of other people when they hear people using other people's names. Follow mandated law, fix the fake words and ties to other people that you attach me and others to, including little kids too young to counter that. It's not just sexual and medical crimes with the kids, with the principal sex offender. It's not just the digital crimes with the upskirt natures from the adults with that. Now, these are people further involved with the policing of the stores intercities through time. They have programs that keep that train people to, well, this is our part. We have all these countries shared here and there, and they share it on the campuses. And you guys, you're out of minds. Fix the mandated law. So also, Mark Violet and Ray Colol said that that I have recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed, and John Maiano on Zion Street, they have roles with federal crimes, distinctly, non-distinctly, and simultaneously from how they have it on the campus of CCSU. See, these are people that have coordinated fact-keeping nature-oriented predicate acts roles on Trinity College and off it distinctly, non-distinctly, on CCSU and off it distinctly, non-distinctly, and simultaneously. Leading up to the World Trade Center and since, there were people that had coordinated predicate acts roles with fake things stacked into databases and observed by police forms on and off campuses connected, where they're writing down fake things and illusions because they're setting them up to be so they can pretend they could. So through time, these are people that were leading up to the World Trade Center attack. And since then, they exploited what they did before. So I remembered it because I only know people from seeking me out to make further confessions, demonstrations, recorded things tied to things that there was a former Mayor Gold's daughter, Debbie Gold. She's also involved with this on Trinity College with mayors and with their family members, for also with executive with the lawyers of FBI and of the town of Wethersfield involved with federal crimes with the town with the town offices. Now these are election locations. No, they have the big lie, recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed about a part of their strategy, where they have the Democrats and the Republicans were divided against each other, and when they counter each other, and then defenses that counter each other are in collusion with that real sophistication. It has these pseudo sophistications pretending they're sophistication. All exceptions, exception nature, and demonstration of the same thing. They use their knowledge and insights to get over on everyone, fix the fake news. And where's this Roger Suzanne live? Let's get the response from WFSB, or we're going to have to take it to where he lives and stuff like that. Because you guys also attach me to fake words and little kids to fake words with this crack pot. Make sure you get me a response fast. Make sure you show this to people. Don't hide what they're doing with the January 6th Commission. They have intercities across the states, some sick fake. There's some physical delusions and evidence reception racketeering. They're attaching everyone to fake words throughout their whole lifetime, and with their family members. Everyone will demonstrate this. You have to ask them the right way, and ask the right people, and follow the mandated law. Fix the fake words, and make sure you get a response why the Wethersfield police hid this. And by switching names, make sure I get a response. Make sure. Fear God. When you still got child abusers, you still have morons speaking for what black and white was put here for, a breaching method. You still have entertained what you can entertain. The people stacking in New York City. I'll show you how to handle this. I'll show you how to handle the fake legal natures. The kids who want to overcome this, adults who want to overcome all that fake injustice, that fake integrity, where you guys know there are countless examples. People haven't been freed, let alone, black and white. Clear as day, that was the breaching method put in place. They call it on racism because they need to blame it on other things, because those people themselves are evidence reception predators. Their delusions raw. Your mental health experts. They're attaching us to fake conversations with themselves around our house since we're kids. They have their kids involved with some bad things. Vaccines. Fear God. Make sure they follow mandated law for the January 6th. See that guy with that thing? There proves that guy's in an agency. It's like we look like directed. Where they have the cameras at the perfect angles and they're watching all this, but they're unprepared to control the crowd. Get down. Don't go on TV again. Put those stupid morons who got voted. Train them. Watch, I'll train them. Get them to follow mandated law. Give me a name. Make sure they don't stay on TV anymore, wasting time. And get this Roger Suzanne off the air for what he did. And make sure I get a response for the crackpot. Get them away from the kids too, and tell them to fear God for using my name, crackpot. Get me off the fake conversations with you, and make sure you get the judges on paper with the prosecutors. No, Suzanne and WFSB, fear God. More threats you guys hid. You're not letting them told on to the kids. I caught more confessions and threats regarding the kids and uses of them. when you were still forcing them, Rogers, in with your federal crimes, when you were still rolled with the proven child abusers of juxtaposed more natures recorded then and now. You hid that. You hid that as roles with the sick fake judges. You're going to get them on paper too with Suzanne. Those are your co-defendants now. Make sure you're honest when you talk to the state's attorney. Make sure, the attorney general, and make sure he's honest. Make sure he doesn't fail to see this, how he has to do this, because it's also tied to World Trade Center. And get a response for the people on off the state judicial branch offices with this Enzo Fienza and the body dumping spot of Billy Grasso, and the people associated with the body dumping spots of the serial killer, who's also involved with the Newtown Sandy Hook people, involved with the crimes with the kids I caught them with. The leaders of the kids, with drugs crimes with the kids, medicines crimes, and with the prisons cliques. And Sandy Hook, Newtown has crimes with their prisons, with their patients and criminals before they get caught, including a principal child abuser. You fear God, because they were also using that to hide and force those crimes with the kids. These are also people that are tied to the Lanzas, not by accident. Fear God. Make sure I get a response. See, Renaissance.